Okay, hello, I'm Paul Rainbird, and here we are broadcasting the Santa Fe Media Network. We're at the Antiquities Show at Museo de Cultural, and I'm here today talking with Kim Martindale. Kim,
Good afternoon.
nice to have you with us.
Great to have you guys here at the show.
Talk to us, first of all, how did you get involved in this particular show?
This show we started 3 years ago. My partner John Morris and I started it because we really felt it was crucial in Santa Fe during this time period to have a show that just focused on American Indian, in particular historic American Indian, to be kind of the opposite side or the juxtaposition to Indian market, Swaya and IFAM, and really to show that whole spectrum of art from early pieces and then have the very best in early work, and then just the day after then have the very best in contemporary work, so somebody can fly in from anywhere in the world and see in 9-day time period the best of American Indian material.
Tell me a little bit about your background. You've been in this business a long time.
I've been in this business my whole life. I think I was born with a passion for this material. My parents tell stories about when I'm 9 months old with a museum and my affinity towards this material. And then when I finally moved to California when I was 12, I started to my parents would take me to these shows in Los Angeles and started buying and selling, and then helped start when I was 16 the first ever historic or antique American Indian art show here in Santa Fe 38 years ago, with Don Bennett was the main person, and I was setting up tables and collecting money. And then 2 years after that, I started producing my own show, took over management of that show, and then have continued to be involved in that world.
So are you one of the main organizers here for this show?
I am. I'm a partner in the show with John Morris.
Okay.
And we do this show, and then we do a show just before this, which is Objects of Art, which is a wider range of material, kind of art from all over the world. And then what we really wanted to do is focus in on American Indian material, which is really one of my main passions.
So Harmon had a question for you. Harmon?
Well, Tim, art is a kind of a continuity in culture and expression, and kind of preserves within it not only the sacredness of what was being produced, but also has the inspiration and continuity for a new generation coming up. How did the masters learn their craft? And I think it's important for us to really look at the youth in Native America to inspire them with the legacy of their ancestors and like. I don't know if you have any words to say about that.
Yeah, no, I agree completely about it. And one of the reasons, I think that's really one of the reasons I was speaking to earlier, of tying the shows together and really having the best of contemporary and the best of historic, so people can really see that early material, and some of the artists that are coming in for Swaya or IFAM can come and see this material and really look at it, because I think it's vital to show that link from the historical standpoint, from a cultural standpoint, from an economic standpoint. Like a first face cheese blanket are very rare, but it's still a Navajo blanket that's woven. Some of those have sold for multi-million dollars. The last one that sold was $1,800,000. So when you go to Indian market and you see a weaver that's selling something for $40,000 or $60,000, comparatively, that is still a great price. And when you look at the traditions of the fineness and the weaving elements, and you look at how trading post developed styles around 1910 and how those traditions continue today, I think all of those things are really important for the youth, whether it be Native American youth. I think it's to inspire that artist to come, but I also want to inspire the youth of around the world of how important this cultural art is. And I think when you look at it compared to contemporary painting or ceramics or whatever, I think that American Indian art holds a place that should be in the top echelon anywhere in the world, comparing it to any other cultural art form.
Well, yeah. That was a question that I had.
So, how is the reception for this particular show this year? How's that been?
This year we're up in attendance for it. I think that that's an exciting sign. I think that art and different types of art goes through cycles. And I think that, in some ways, I think that this is really a great sign when we have attendance up. Sales were strong last night. And let's hope that continues on to SWAIA, that it really shows that there's a resurgence, because there's been, very popular, as you were talking about an earlier time, when this material was incredibly popular. And I think that there's no reason for it to get back to that. And this show is starting to show that we're getting back to that place.
How do we connect with the millennials? I was always feeling that there's a whole new audience there that we really need to bring into this process. How do you approach that?
Well, through social media and other things, because I think they're very visual. And I think it's really just putting this material out in front of them. And whether it's on their phone, through the various types of social media, and getting it on their phone. Once people see this material, I'm confident that there's going to be a percentage that responds to it. Because when you look at these pieces, like, can I walk you over this way a little bit? So we're going to come over here, and we're going to look at these pieces here. Like this piece here. This piece is a Sunday saddle blanket. It's woven somewhere between 1880 and 1895 in that time period. The wool that's in it is called Germantown. It came from the East Coast, and so it was given to the very best weavers. But when you look at this piece, if you're just looking at it on TV right now, and just guess, if I hadn't told you the age, most people would guess that this piece was done in the 1950s, because it has such a modernist feel to it. So I really think that Navajo textiles need to be looked at as paintings done with wool. And in reality, these are really the first modern artists and contemporary artists are Navajo weavers. And the same thing's true of pottery and different things that were done in native communities throughout the U.S., Canada, Mexico, pre-Columbian. The design elements they use, the colors they chose at that time, really is the beginning of modernist design elements.
Very good point. Very good point. And so, as a matter of fact, Santa Fe Media Network is being built to be accessible through the smartphone format.
Perfect.
And that's hopefully one of our main, access points for a millennial group,
right,
is to say, hey, I can go on my smartphone and I can get this information.
Right.
So,
and really see those designs, because I think that as you see those design elements, you get to a place that you go, wow, like I love contemporary art. Like right now, contemporary art, painting, ceramics, installation, performance is really what the most hottest thing out there. But when you really look at this kind of art, whether it be like this piece here, this piece, or the piece I showed you, or many other pieces throughout the show, you really see that this is that. And you don't have to go to some young artist that's 19 or 20 that's painting. And there is this tradition, and these pieces have been preserved by collectors or museums or kept in families that collected them, 100 years ago or earlier. And many of these pieces have been kept in really great condition. So it really allows one to see this work almost as it was then, and really see what the ancestors were doing on these pieces, which is an incredible gift, really, that collectors are giving back to that community.
So you're from the California area, one of my favorite places, Venice Beach.
Yes, Venice.
Are you doing anything there that's kind of bringing in young people or sharing the information with them, giving them access in some way?
I am. I produce a show called Los Angeles Art Show, or LA Art Show. It draws in 70,000 people from around the world to it. And last year we did a special exhibit actually with Blue Rain, which is a gallery here in town in Santa Fe. And I had some material there, and we invited an artist over from Santa Fe to do a large mural, Tony Abeta. And he did about a 28-foot long mural. He painted it over the course of the show. And because it really is my passion. So, I've always, as we stated in the beginning, that I've been just enamored, or there's been something in me that just speaks to the Native American art, and Native American art speaks to me. So I really wanted to incorporate that into a more general show. And that show, all you do is see, thousands of people with their iPhones taking pictures of things. And so it's really, that's the first step, is to get people aware of this material, and then who knows where it goes from there. But, I started collecting at the youngest of age, but most of my peers, most people really don't start collecting until they get into their 40s. So it's really about, the millennials, getting them exposed to this and come to Indian Market, come to this show or whatever and see it. You don't need to buy it at this point. Just come and enjoy it, have passion for it. And then when you kind of get more settled down and you don't mind having a few trappings around and things that you can respond to, that's when people start collecting, and it's here for you.
That's great. Okay, so let's get some details on the show.
Okay.
It's running from when to when, time to time, and
tonight it lasts until 5 o'clock, and then tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, 11 to 5. So come on down any of those times, and then Indian Market's right after. IFAM's happening at the same time. We're here in the rail yard, El Museo de Cultural, from 11 to 5 each day. And then we'll be back here next August again. And we do other events around the country. We do some shows up in San Francisco area, some in Los Angeles area. So if you come to Objects of Art Shows, so Objects with a plural of Art Shows with plural again.com, you'll see a whole list of the 6 shows that we do that really are focused on art. A couple of them are on American Indian, but then other art forms as well.
well, that's great, and we're glad that you're here, and we welcome you for this very exciting week of Indian Market, and good luck to you.
Well, thank you so much. It's just a pleasure being here, and it's always exciting to be in Santa Fe. It's one of my favorite places.
All right.